Today I'm going to break down the best and easiest hyperlapse techniques that I know. What's a hyperlapse? My definition is that it's a moving time lapse. In my opinion, there are two main types of hyperlapses. Now there are a lot of hyperlapse tutorials on YouTube, but I'm going to simplify it down to two main hyperlapse techniques and the best way to do them. There's photo hyperlapse, which is more for single focal point hyperlapses, which means that they're great for focusing on architecture. And then there's multifocal point hyperlapses, which means you're focusing on different things, and it's great for walking hyperlapses, drone hyperlapses, any type of hyperlapse where you're moving a lot, looking at different things. If you look at the video you just saw, you'll notice that the first half of the video is a multifocal point video hyperlapse. The second half, where I really focus on architecture, are single focal point photo hyperlapses. Okay, let's get started on how to do these hyperlapses. These hyperlapses are, in my opinion, the easiest and most effective and most reliable ways to do hyperlapses. With photo hyperlapses, you don't need a tripod. All you need is your camera and something to focus on. So what you want to do is you want to look through the viewfinder and turn on your grid lines, and also turn on your level, which in my camera is a thing that goes like this, and if it's level it turns green. Turn on your grid line and turn on your level and pick a focal point, so maybe it's a statue's eye. Put your crosshairs on that focal point and snap a photo, take a step, snap a photo, take a step. And just make sure that the crosshair is always lined to your focal point and that your camera is level. When you're done shooting, you could take it to Lightroom if you want to color correct, and you can edit a photo and sync it all together. If you want to do some advanced warp stabilization, then take it to After Effects. And if that's all too much work for you, then throw it into Premiere, import it as an image sequence, and throw in the warp stabilizer effect, and then you're done. Now on to video hyperlapses. It is actually super easy. Basically all you have to do is turn your camera on, put it on a gimbal, record, bring it home, put it into After Effects, and put on a motion blur effect. That's it. But for optimal results, when you record with a gimbal, make sure that your gimbal is in lock mode. Now typically gimbals have a couple different modes. All you really need is a lock mode and the mode that lets you pan. When you're walking straight, put it in lock mode, and when you notice you're about to turn, put it in pan or pan tilt mode, and then turn, and then put it back on lock mode. This way, when you're going straight, your gimbal is not going left or right, and it really helps if you need to dodge some people walking right at you in the busy streets of Madison Square Garden. Once you shot your footage, let's bring it into Premiere first before getting into After Effects for motion blur. So in Premiere, readjust the speeds and clips to your liking and do as much as you can before bringing it to After Effects. With these video hyperlapses, it's really easy to create whip pan transitions. Right as your camera is turning, connect it with another turn from another clip. To make the transition a little bit smoother, you could bring one clip above the other and just use the effect cross dissolve on the last couple of frames of the clip so that you could get a nice little smooth transition that plays with the opacity a little bit. Once you're all set with everything and confident that you're ready to go on to the next step, highlight everything, right click, and click Replace with After Effects Composition. Now that you're in After Effects, right click this area, click New, and let's create a new adjustment layer. Make sure your adjustment layer is at the top of all the clips. Now under Effects and Presets, search for Motion, drag CC Force Motion Blur onto your adjustment layer, and that's it. You're all done. The great thing about this motion blur effect is that it matches your scene. So if you're not really moving, then there's not really much motion blur. But the faster you go, the more motion blur there is. Alright, that's it for hyperlapses. Again, these two techniques are by far the easiest techniques that I know out there, and from my experience, they do a perfectly good job on getting things done. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I got 10 more tutorials in this 30-day 30 tutorial challenge coming up. So if you want to see more tutorials like this, feel free to subscribe and let me know if there's anything else you want to learn, and I'll go ahead and put it on the list. And I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow. I've been slacking a little bit, so hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for another tutorial.